After the Black Stars camping base has been confirmed, a change from South Africa to Ghana, friendly has also been confirmed. But that change, what prompted it? Henry Asantichum today, in an interview with Joy Sports, revealed it all. The countries that were considered, he revealed what influenced the change for Ghana. And a side note, it wasn't because you guys made a lot of noise on social media. He also explained of the weather conditions that prompted the conversation about South Africa in the first place and everything in between. Look at all that today. But as usual, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Click on that notification bell to get more updates. As small countries release their final squad, it's been reviewed by the communications director of the Ghana Football Association that Coach Chris Hughton will probably have a press conference where the squad, the final, will be announced and possible face some questions from the media. We'll get communication on when that is. But Chris Hughton is set to arrive in Ghana this weekend, and that will prompt the series of steps that will have that press conference set up and everything else done. But it was South Africa that Black Stars were going to camp in. What prompted the change? What brought about this new Kumasi venue? What changed? Well, the communication director of the Ghana Football Association said that there were several countries that were under consideration ahead of the campaign for the Ghana Black Stars ahead of the African Cup of Nations. And these were the countries. Let's have a listen to him.
The number of countries that we considered, and Ghana was one. Ghana was one, Togo was another, Cameroon, Benin, Equatorial Guinea before South Africa.
Please go through the list again.
Ghana was one, Togo was another, Benin, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and South Africa. At the time we were taking the decision not to camp in Ghana, we did not have the opportunity to play any high-profile friendly game, either in Accra, Begro, Bekwai, Esuboi, Suhum, or Takrady. In deciding or in settling on a friendly game, whether you are playing a lower intensity, mid intensity, or higher intensity friendly game, you then decide what goes into organizing a friendly match. The first thing is money. Yeah. If we were going to fly a country to come to Ghana to come and play us, it means we must pay. It means you need to fly the country in and out, and it's a substantial amount of money. It means that you need to take care of their accommodation, you need to take care of their internal transport, and so forth and so on. And that's a huge sums of money you are talking about here. So, having experienced a few unfortunate scenes in Kumasi, because that's where we've played all our matches since we moved from Cape Coast. Now, Chris always decides to train behind closed doors, and it has always been impossible to train behind closed doors in Ghana. Okay. Equatorial Guinea came up. Equatorial Guinea was a big no from our technical team. Then we moved to Cameroon. Cameroon, we considered a few options. The feedback wasn't positive, so it was cancelled. Benin as well. After one or two discussions, Benin was also cancelled. So the coach said, I will go to South Africa. And that received the blessing of the executive council in making the decision to go to South Africa.
We heard Henry Asantichum there talking about the countries that were under consideration. But he also went on to state how they eliminated the various countries, as you could hear in that voice over there in that interview with Joy Sports. He talked about why the other countries, why it was whittled down, and why South Africa was settled on for that one and for the camping base. And considering the fact that we are no longer camping in South Africa, what prompted that change? He emphasized that the change to the Kumasi Babayara Sports Stadium, or Kumasi, the Lancaster Hotel, where the Black Stars will be camping, was not because of the public outcry. Let's have a listen to his reasons for why Kumasi was now chosen as the venue.
Why? The reason is that today we are not going to spend on paying for an opponent to play the Black Stars. At least we know that we have one higher intensity game that the team will play in Kumasi with no cost. In the past, we were going to pay. If we had gone to South Africa, we would get Botswana, with low cost to play. Today, luckily for us, I mean, and it's a major factor that came up in the meeting. Luckily for us, we woke up 4 days ago and received a letter from our brothers in Namibia,
yeah,
that they were coming to Ghana to camp here. So the Namibia camping in Ghana argument settles everything.
So it is that
at the end of the day, you are not going to spend that substantial amount of money that I spoke about earlier.
So it is that one game that changes everything.
Yes.
And not the public outcry. So if we're going to get a free game in SA and would have had to pay less to bring a team to Ghana, we would have been in SA for camping.
Yes.
Not the public outcry.
No.
Right.
Okay.
You heard him there. Kumasi chosen as the venue because of Namibia. Namibia coming in brought in a chance to play a high-profile friendly ahead of the African Cup of Nations, and that meant they would spend less. It was quite an interesting one there. But also, Togo would have been a great one to have Algeria play them in Togo. It would have still been possible, in my opinion. I think Togo should have still been considered there. Now, the reason South Africa, many people were against it, was because of the weather conditions. The weather condition is different when we play here. Henry Asantichum gave a counter argument to that, stating that they learned something from former Black Stars coach Avram Grant. Let's have a listen to him on the weather arguments that many were putting across on social media.
We learned something from Avram Grant in 2015. When Avram took over the team in 2014 after our abysmal performance in Brazil, the first thing he did was to look for a camping place for the Black Stars at the time.
Yeah.
Because he came in when we had already qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
He said, it is always wrong to burn out before a tournament. Burning out here, the scientific analysis he propelled at the time was that you camp in the warm and you play in the warm. There is a lot of science in it. You rather must camp in the cold and play in the warm, or camp in the warm and play in the cold. It helps your competition level. And this is why teams in England, specifically, because most leagues go on break in December until January, that is why teams in England leave the cold and go to Abu Dhabi to warm themselves and come back into the cold,
Or to the south of Spain.
or to the south of Spain, where it is very, very warm during this time of the year,
Or Portugal. Yeah.
or maybe the Scandinavia, but there the weather is so terrible to the extent that you can't even walk outside in December, January. So they normally break their leagues in November. So we looked at that as well, not to burn out before the competition, to camp in a 38 degrees Celsius weather and play in a 40 degrees Celsius weather. By the time you play your second game, your team is burnt out. And having followed that science he gave us, Ghana finished second at the Cup of Nations in Equatorial Guinea in 2015, but for the penalty miss of was it Franka Champon or a free aqua? Yes, Franka Champon and a free aqua missed their kicks. But our performance in Equatorial Guinea has been one of the best in recent times. And when we did the post-tournament analysis, the decision to camp in a cold weather and to play in a warm weather was number one, on the list.
So you had him there. Don't tire yourselves out when preparing for a tournament. Avram Grant taught them that, and they decided that playing in a condition that was quite cold or quite more different than that in which a tournament will be played in was much more better than playing in a condition similar to what was being played It went on to be countered by Gary L. Smith. He stated that it looks like the FA pick and choose when they want to use that weather argument. Because if you look at historically, when we're even playing the African Cup of Nations in 2008 in Ghana here, where we were host, we went outside the country and went to camp. If you look historically at the 20-year timeline, you'll see that they pick and choose whichever argument fits for them. They pick and choose whenever the weather argument works out. And that probably is why that should not be used as an argument or as an excuse for choosing South Africa. Well, that was crashed down, but Henry insisted that that was part of it. And let me not look like I don't believe Henry Asante when he says something, but him saying that the reason why they did not, or Ghana did not, Ghana reneged on their decision, had nothing to do with the public outcry, has to be something I find really hard to believe. The public outcry played a part. Yes, Namibia playing here meant that we would have a better friendly to prepare for the African Cup of Nations, but the public outcry helped. There's no two ways about it. It did help in a way, and I'm quite confident of that. Imagine him admitting that yes, it was because of the public outcry. He would essentially be admitting that we have some form of power or influence, or a way to influence the decision of the Ghana Black Stars and the FA, and we will be emboldened to speak louder and better on more decisions they take, and they would not want that to happen. That's my opinion. But let me know what you think in the comments box. The countries that were considered, the reason why Ghana was later considered, why South Africa was even in the conversation in the first place, the choice or the elimination of other countries from the choice of countries that were going to be used as camping base, and everything here we've spoken about. Ghana will train behind closed doors, and the friendly with Namibia has been confirmed. The date will be out. Coach Chris Hughton will be in town over this weekend, and he will possibly be naming the squad. Let me know what you think in the comments box on this interview here granted by Henry Asante. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great evening and enjoy the end of the year. Enjoy your weekend.